Of Advents from Sweet Sparrow Yarns is this beauty, and it's called Farm Fresh. It's on her puffin base, which is her slub base, and I've mentioned before that I like that for blankets. It's a lot of fun to put in and see that texture. She also sent a little peppermint, which I'm sure will get stolen from me shortly. The Lamb Strings Spooky Advent Calendar color today is Beware the Belsnickel. And we had a lot of fun this morning looking up that Dutch tradition of the Belsnickel. And if you haven't done that, that's a lot of fun. And then my Nightmare Before Christmas swap from my friend Mariah, she sent this color and named it Lock. And she also sent me this really lovely packet of stitch markers. So I've got Sally and Jack. This one's a pumpkin. It's upside down though. And I'm not sure what this one in the back is. I haven't opened it yet. So, ooh, a ghost. There he is. He's a ghost. So I'm super excited about those. Those are a lot of fun. And that's Advents. Hi. Vlogmas. Today is a day in December. I think it's Friday the 18th. I realized that I haven't really spoken much to you. I feel like I haven't spoken much to you. I've noticed when I'm editing that there's usually a point that I speak to you at least once a day. But yeah, it's kind of, more of the same. There's not really much going on, and then I kind of started to think, like, a Vlogmas isn't really a daily report, It's not really a daily productivity meter, I guess. It's just more supposed to be for me to chat with you or share my ideas or my thoughts or whatever, I suppose, kind of let you in on what's going on in my mind or in my house or whatnot. And I find that that's harder this year because my husband is off. And so I just say it to him and I don't say it to you. But him and Hector have left. They are going to pop by a local grocery store and pick up some flowers and then go drop them off to his grandmother as our Christmas I'm thinking of you thing. So they went to go do that. And I am just catching up on my sample. I feel like this is really all you're going to see for Vlogmas, so I hope that that's okay. I'm endeavoring to make as much progress as possible so you can see progress on it during Vlogmas instead of just the same old thing every time. But it is a fingering weight sweater, you know, and it is taking the time that a fingering weight sweater takes, you know. So I am stooling along on that. It's great for watching Vlogmases because I'm just in the stockinette portion now. And there's a little bit of waist shaping, but it's once every 2 inches or so. So it's been really easy to keep up with and just work through, I suppose. There's not really a lot of thinking involved. Itchy. My skin is so dry because of the winter. It's so dry. You will have seen advent calendars today that I opened. My friend Sienna brought over cookies and she brought me a box of tea that she and her family didn't really like. It's a rooibos chai. I really like chai. I thought it was really pretty. So I've had a couple cups of that, or a cup of that, I guess. Every cup that I have is basically 2 cups. So whenever it tells you how many tea bags to use, like I always end up having to double it because my mugs are always between 14 and 16 ounces instead of 8. That's not chai. That's my holiday tea from Harney and Sons, and it's really nice. Yeah, I don't really have any goals or anything to share, or what's happening to share, I suppose. Christmas gifts are all being sent out. I've been very blessed by the postal service gods and haven't had a whole lot of delay on the things that I have sent or received, which is really nice. So knock on wood on that one that stays that way. And my heart goes out to everybody else. Like the poor postal system is just completely gridlocked, and you know, it is very frustrating not to be able to receive your stuff, especially during the holidays. But the lack of empathy that I'm seeing towards small businesses is really disturbing. You know, it's been pandemic for almost a year now, you guys. Like, we should be used to this. The fact that it got delayed, or the fact that it's stuck, or the fact that none of this should be a surprise, and none of this should be, I'm sorry, none of it should be worth getting mad over. I realize that 2020 has been, for lack of a better word, a crap show for the majority of it. And I know that everybody is really looking forward to the holiday season because the holidays are the good time and blah, blah, blah. But it's unrealistic to expect that randomly just because December showed up that everything is going to be perfect and candy canes and, you know, lollipops, because that's just not, that's not life, period. And it's definitely not life in 2020. So if you've ordered something from a small business and you're still waiting, or if the Postal Service has lost something or is gridlocked in your area, or please be kind. Please be kind. It is not any one person's fault. It is not a solution. There is no overnight solution. If there was an overnight solution, we would have found it already and we would have used it, because nobody wants to be in 2020 any more than anybody else. We're all just waiting. And we're all waiting together. And so please be a good neighbor to the person waiting beside you. And if you don't have solutions, or if you are not in a place to implement those solutions, then maybe be gentle with your criticisms. That's my soapbox. Hector had some cavities filled yesterday. He did really well. Everything was fine. He had a baby root canal the last time he went in, which I can't remember. It was probably before Vlogmas started. It was before Vlogmas started. And other than a little bit of jaw pain from, you know, he had it right here. So other than just a little bit of pain on opening his jaw, he didn't have any residual problems. He was really excited to go back to get the other side done. Said nobody who ever got a root canal. I don't know where this kid came from or what kind of experience he's having that me and my husband didn't have, because, you know, but you have to be really careful about that. You can't tell them your horror stories, because then he won't go. And You know, it's so funny, isn't it, what will stick in a kid's brain as pertinent information and then end up coloring their perspectives for their whole lives. But anyway, you know, he went in, and, you know, dentists are always so afraid, not just dentists, but doctors too, they're always so afraid of telling their patient what they're going to do. I'm sure that they have a lot of children who don't like to hear it, or who panic and like it gets away in their heads, you know. But Hector is very much a you should tell him what you're doing prior to doing it. Don't surprise him with it. He's not that kid. That will make it a whole lot more unpleasant than if you just tell him, okay, buddy, like, we're gonna do a shot, this is what it's gonna feel like, it's only gonna be this long, everything's fine, are you ready, you know? And give him the option, like, you don't have to watch, you know, and he'll be fine. But if you just stick him, he'll panic, like, he absolutely loses it. So the dentist was pretty good. I had to remind her a couple of times, like, you know, hey, talk to him, you know. She did really good with him over the baby root canal, but he had a different dental tech this time. You know, the person who's in charge of like the suction and the vacuuming and the water and the rinsing, she had a different dental tech this time, and I think that she and the tech hadn't really found their rhythm yet with each other, I think. So she was a lot more concerned about issuing instructions to her dental tech than like telling my 9-year-old what she's doing while she's in his mouth, you know? So I ended up being the one to run commentary and talk about what they were doing and stuff like that, you know? And there were a couple of times that she stopped and she looked at me and she was like, that's not going to bother him? And I was like, well, no, but if you keep treating him like he's not here, I'm sure it will. You know, and I think that kind of woke her up a little bit and was like, oh yeah, like, you know, I mean, yes, 9 isn't very old, but he is a person. You know, you can tell him what's going to happen to him or ask his opinion on things, you know. I feel like that's a small ask, you know. There's going to be 3 people with their fingers shoved in his mouth. I think he has the right to say whether or not he's down for that, you know. So anyway, other than that, it went really well, and he's feeling good. He's got a little bit of a burn on his lip right here, and I don't know if that was from the suction, you know, where you close your mouth over the little vacuum thing, or if it was a cord or something, or I don't know. But he had it when he had his root canal too, so who knows, right? Let's see what else. Yeah, I don't have much. I've been really tired the last few days, and I've had a couple of days where I've just been really off. You know, and I think everybody gets those days, especially if you are a person who undergoes regular hormonal shifts. We'll just put it that way. Not everybody does all of the other stuff, okay? But if you're a person whose body goes through regular hormonal shifts, I think that kind of ends up affecting your mood and your energy levels and stuff like that. You know, I always find that, this is going to be really silly, but I always find that really interesting to see too on Vlogmas, is to watch everybody's cycles of motivation and energy and stuff, and to see how other people deal with not really feeling great. Or, you know, are you a person that you don't want to show your face to the camera, and so you just give a nice pretty voiceover and show yourself baking bread or something? Are you a person who, you know, appears on camera in your slouchiest clothes with like a bowl of chocolate cereal, or a chocolate ice cream, I mean, and like, you know, completely unapologetic about the fact you feel that? Are you the person who fights through it? Are you the person who pretends it's not happening? Are you the person who just says no and goes and doesn't podcast for 3 days? Like, I'm curious, you know. I always like to see how other people deal with it. I think that by witnessing and normalizing multiple different responses to the same issue, I think that it lends perspective to what that issue is like, you know, or kind of helps you feel a little bit less alone, you know, if you see somebody who handles it the way you do, and you're like, oh, okay, well, I'm not the only one who does that, you know. But anyway, I've been a little tired the last couple of days. I think I was in bed by like 9:30. I remember I texted Julie last night from Sweet Sparrow. I texted Julie last night at 8 o'clock, and I was like, oh my god, can I go to bed yet? Like, my son's still up and everything. And I was like, can I go to bed yet? And she didn't respond to me. She wrote me this morning and she was like, guess why I didn't respond to you?
For anybody who is unaware, Julie lives in New York, which is an hour ahead of me, so it would have been 9 o'clock her time, you know. And Julie also gets up at like 5 in the morning. Nah, honey, it's not gonna happen. I did that. I did that when I was in the military, and I got paid to do it. I'm not getting paid to do it. I'm not getting up that early anymore. So anyway, so she goes to bed, you know, a little bit earlier than I do or whatever. And I just thought it was really funny that she texted me and was like, guess why I didn't respond? And we all know the answer to that. So anyway, I was in bed by 9:30 last night. My husband said I fell asleep before 11. I fell asleep watching a podcast. I was watching back episodes of So Sweet Violet. Jules has decided that she's not going to podcast anymore this month, or she's not going to Vlogmas anymore, and I'm really sad about that. I love Jules. She's one of my absolute favorite vloggers and podcasters, and I love her Vlogmases. She has just the most wonderful daily routine, and her house is absolutely adorable, and she's a beautiful garden, and she takes her cute puppy on these beautiful walks through the, you know, the English countryside or through the little trails or whatever, the woods. And I love Jules. So Jules, if you ever see this, I love you. And I'm so sad that she's not going to keep doing her vlogs, but you know, I totally understand. You know, we're all struggling this year. And Jules is so wonderfully open about her struggles and her days where she just doesn't want to. And so many of my podcasters or vloggers that I follow are so open about their mental health. And I think that that's just absolutely wonderful. But yeah, I mean, I haven't been too bad. A little grumpy, I guess. Just not really in the mood for anything. And so I find that that's coming down into my filming too. You know, I don't really have anything to share. Nothing's really happening. And so I don't pick up the camera, you know, or I think about it 20 minutes after something happens. I'm like, oh, that would have been nice to film. I guess I could have filmed that. On Monday, we were thinking about driving. We have like a little Christmas village that gets set up in a neighborhood down near us every year. Um, and we were thinking we would drive down and we would film that for you guys and take you along for that. Um, we were going to do it last night, but I just wasn't feeling up to it. I had a headache. I just could not get rid of the headache all day long, which is terrible because my son's the one that got the dental work and I'm the one that came home and felt bad. So we had some popcorn yesterday and we watched The Grinch. The popcorn that I actually got from World Market, and it's red kernels, and they're supposed to have fewer holes for you to pick out of your teeth. And it has a salty flavor to it. It was really nice. Like I popped it and like I put a little bit. I'm a butter and salt kind of person. My popcorn's not a healthy snack at all. But I put a little bit of butter and a little bit of salt. But I probably used, oh my gosh, I used like 1 or 2 pinches of salt. Whereas normally like do the butter thing and then I do a lot of tossing, and I end up having to use not a ton of salt, but a lot more than I did last night. And it was so nice. It was such a nice popcorn. It was great. So that was really cool. I might make that again today. um, yeah, I couldn't kick that headache. What was I talking about? See, like, it's like this in person too. Like nothing. This isn't any better. Um, anyway, so we are gonna go on Monday to do a little bit of a Christmas thing to take you guys along with. We have been pretty big homebodies this month. You know, for obvious reasons. But I mean, usually we'll take a drive. You know, just get out of the house, just go take a drive. And that hasn't really been happening in the last couple of weeks. I think we've all kind of been feeling it, you know, and the weather has definitely changed. It's a lot colder now, so I don't know, natural inclination, I think, is just to snug down in your house and find your blankie and stay under. So that's what I'm doing right now, and I'm working on my sample, obviously. Like I said, the boys have gone out. I have the house to myself. I was watching Tommy of Squirrel Pie, and she had made a comment about her daughter being at her grandparents and her husband having to run up to the campus where he works for a minute. And so she was like, she's like, I'm home alone. I haven't been home alone in 6 months. She admitted, she's like, I really don't know what to do with myself. I probably should be doing this. You know, I probably should just sit down and knit, but I kind of want to do this other thing because what else am I going to do? And I just thought that was really relatable. I think it's really funny. Frankly, I really love the fact that we're all kind of in the same boat, because then you don't have as much disparity amongst reactions, I guess, you know, like you have some people who are still busy beavers, you know, but most people, we're all kind of facing the same struggles, you know. I haven't been home alone in 6 months. Like, I don't know what to do now, you know, and it's, I enjoy seeing the commonality in emotional responses among people because I think that it helps to establish that we really are not that different, you know, behind our closed doors and underneath all of our clothes and makeup and past our jobs and our degrees or whatever the hell else we might have. Like, we're really just the same people. And I think that 2020 will help to remind people that we really are all in this together, that we really are still just a village with a lot of technology, you know, and hopefully it will bring about some of those feelings of community, that craving for community that we seem to have kind of lost over the last couple of decades with all of the technological advances and stuff. So that's my hope for this year. But anyway, I am going to finish watching my Vlogmases because I haven't gotten to catch up on those yet today. And I will maybe speak with you guys a little bit later. We'll see what happens. Okay, I'm losing the light really fast, but I wanted to show you the progress on my monarch since it's all I do is knit on it nowadays. So here's my yoke. So 2 different kinds of butterflies, and they're flying over milkweed, and then the milkweed fades down into the body. I am about 6.5 inches into the body, and I'm doing waist shaping as I go. If you look really close, you can see, oh, there they are. They show up really nice. There's little specks in the butterflies, and yeah, so that's my monarch, and I am working my way on. It's coming along really well. So I just wanted to share that with you before it's pitch black and you can't see anything. So, okay, that was it.
I said, she disagreed and told me naughty lads belong in a stew pot. So I said, I'll find you 2 naughty lads if you spare me.
She tried to cook up me and Kit, look on here, but we promised her